We were sent The Piece of Wild Things by Wendell Berry this week by a fan. It's wonderful. He's wonderful. And there are just several marvelous poems in here. Actually, two poems, okay? The eponymous poem of the book, The Piece of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and am free. That's one. This other one is very, very different. Manifesto, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front.
Ooh, I like this.
Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die. And you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So friends, every day do something that won't compute. Love the Lord. Love the world. Work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love somebody who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. Prophecy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields, lie easy in the shade, rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection.
Holy moly, is that a good poem?
Isn't that?
That is so good. What was the line in there? So long as she does not go cheap for power, please women more than men.
Yeah. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men.
Oh, that is so good. And it is, it's one of these things where one of the other things that we say is that all true narratives must reconcile. And so that is to say that when a poet is tapped into something deep, then it ought to reconcile with all the stuff we know from science. And in this case, the thing about the two reproductive strategies of men versus the one reproductive strategy of women is that it effectively comes closer to synonymizing the viewpoint of women with the long-term well-being of your lineage. Mm. And so anyway, I feel that this has been discovered in that poem. Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. And then here are some words from a man named Matthew who said that, yes, we could share them.
Wonderful.
We get notes like this, and this one was particularly lovely and short, but I'll just read it. Hi, Heather. I started paying attention to what you and Bret have been talking about roughly around when the DarkHorse podcast began. I had the fortune of attending one of the speaking events Bret moderated in Vancouver with Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson as well. As COVID began, and both you and Bret questioned the narrative and the vaccines, I began to lose confidence in both of you as your views deviated from what we were being told. Now, as the narrative perpetuated by government, media, and the medical establishment is crumbling, I know both of you were right and absolutely courageous to stick to your beliefs and convictions. I am Canadian, and I am in absolute disbelief at what has become of my country. This was written on the 22nd of February. I also feel the worst is yet to come, and COVID was just the tip of the iceberg. Now more than ever, sense makers like you and Bret are critically important, and I am very grateful you are doing what you do. Please keep fighting the good fight. Matthew. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, you have no idea, Matthew, how much a note like that means. At some point, you and I should talk a bit about what it has been like to live in our shoes during this. And it has been, I think, quite different than most people would expect. But one thing that is very clear is that it is not easy, even if you know you're right. Right? And I don't mean right like in an absolute sense, but,
right.
Right more
trying to be
not.
right and actively trying to be right and discover where you're wrong.
Righter every day. Right? If you do that thing where you purge the stuff that didn't turn out to be right and you accumulate stuff that gives you more predictive power, there is a way in which you are right in the end. But one of the things that's really difficult is as you do that, to find yourself demonized by the salesman in every discipline. It's a very awkward and alienating experience. And just simply to hear, let's put it this way. In some ways, it's a better letter to receive than one that says, I've believed you all along, right? Somebody who went through the process of losing confidence in us because we were so far from what the public health narrative said, and then to discover in the end that actually the public health narrative was garbage. Yeah. It's very, very meaningful. So thank you, Matthew.